to the amazing Assistant Governor from Maui, Wendy Hornak.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you again for asking me to do this. I strongly believe in club visioning. I feel like it really helps our clubs be able to set goals and have a solid foundation and have a better direction, especially when you're starting a year off. I was introduced to it by Joanne Laird, who has mentored me and taught me, and we've been working, doing a lot of visioning for a while on Maui. We were doing them in person, and then when COVID hit, we also changed it up to do virtual visioning. So we do still have both of those capacities available. But I'm going to let Joanne say a few words here before we actually get started.
Thank you, Wendy. The district brought in, when visioning first got started, and it was a long time ago, brought in a number of us to Oahu to learn what a Rotary visioning session looked like. And my husband, Larry, and I were part of that group that got trained in this process that you are going to see today in an amazing video that Wendy put together when visioning took place just last year. So Larry and I, and then we suckered Wendy into the group, and we started doing visioning for clubs on Maui about 10 years ago. And a lot of the clubs really picked up on it and felt that it was something that they could do that would create a successful future Rotary year, because so many people are involved in the process. And so as Wendy said, when COVID hit, and it hit us really fast, we had to, quote unquote, pivot to a virtual visioning, which we conducted with many clubs on different islands during those couple of years. And it's somewhat of the same project, but it's a process, but it's a little different. So again, we can offer a virtual visioning, but Wendy is going to share with you the in-person visioning that took place at the Rotary Club of Lahaina Sunset last year. And my club, Lahaina Sunset, has done visioning either in person or virtually every year since it was chartered in 2016. So I think it has helped us be a very vibrant club because so many people are involved. And as I always say, group thinking is better than individual thinking, and it's not all up to the president. So Wendy, I'm going to turn it back to you, and you can take it away.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Let's see, and hopefully this will work out great. Oh wait, is this the one I want? Oh, this is my presentation. We did this as a presentation, and we also did this as a YouTube video. Hold on. Let me get the right one. Sorry about that. I meant to grab the YouTube video.
As Wendy is doing that, we presented the video to club members that could not attend. That's why we did it. So yeah.
I'm gonna do that. So now I just need to start my video. There we go. See if you can hear anything. Oh, here we go. Okay.
Wendy, I don't hear the
Anything? Okay, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me just change the sound here. Okay. Yeah. Can you hear it now?
No.
Okay. All right. So let's do this. Hold on one second. I'm going to do something a little different here. Give me 1 second.
Oh, the technology. We can't live with it, and
Wendy.
we can't live without it.
Wendy,
Yeah.
when you first click on screen share, the pop-up window that comes up on the lower left-hand corner, it says share sound. You have to click that.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I didn't see that one. All right. Thank you, Mike. This is why I like Mike.
Mike is so tech.
Yes, he always helps us out. All right. So let me do this one more time. It's Mike. Okay. Oh, I see, shares. Ah, there's a little tiny checkbox. Okay. Now, we'll start from the beginning. And we're gonna go through the video with you and stop at certain places. Like, for example, here, we do have an agenda, and you're gonna go through in this video and see where we talk about club strengths, which are specific to your club weaknesses, again, specific to your club. But then the other things we discuss is the community strengths on how it can impact your club and the weaknesses as well. And then that's when we come into the other part. All right.
Maybe one or two more before we move on to club weaknesses.
So in here, we're polling them for their club strengths. And this is the list that they came up with on the left that Auntie Joanne is ferociously writing away on the whiteboards over there.
Yes, this club honestly is really good about that. They really work hard to get the word out and let you guys know and the projects you guys do.
And this is a YouTube video, so of course we'll give you the link if you want to watch it. But of course, if you notice here, a lot of these club strengths you can probably relate to with your club as well. Some of these may be weaknesses for your clubs, but this will kind of give you an idea of some of the things they come up with.
And then Erica had one too.
I think in large part with Joanne's direction, but like I think our youth services are pretty strong.
All right. I know there's plenty more to put on that list, but
We're out of room, that's all you
we're
get.
out of room and Joanne said, I gotta go.
What's my daughter's she's recording for us, sorry.
A couple more along the way, please don't hesitate, but let's focus on some club weaknesses now. What are some of the things that you feel are challenges within your club? Maybe like something that's really popular a lot of times is attendance. But I know this is a transitional time as well, so it may be
Okay,
great for you guys. And I was talking to someone about that earlier, and I think you guys, you know, sorry, we can't really do much about that, but it's okay because that's how we know that maybe somebody has.
So these are some of the things they came up with on their club, and this was a year or two ago. So again, you guys might
Noise
be
in the background.
relate to some of these items as well, or some of these might be strengths for your clubs. But again, you can kind of get an idea of some of the vibes and thoughts these clubs were going through as they were coming up with their different weaknesses.
The guy starts playing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's like,
There it goes.
Lack of younger male members.
Yeah.
Strong guys.
Story of our lives, right? Well, that's my going, Rotary. Where are they at? No.
Gemini fossils. 5 minutes ago, we were filming special, 5 minutes ago.
So this is going to transition here in a minute. Again, just a few more pictures of the group. And as you notice, they had a pretty good attendance, which is really important when you're doing this. But then we went over to community strengths. And again, this is what they came up with in Lahaina. And you have to remember on the west side on Maui, they do have 3 Rotary clubs. So that is a strength for them, but it can also be a weakness at times if you have clubs that are too close together. So depending on your club, that could be
talked about many
as well.
times is having like 3 clubs in the same area. That is a positive and it's a negative. So you guys have
Let's
that on
see
both
here.
sides, you know, because there's a lot of.
I'm not going to
great
make you
multi-club
watch my whole
groups
video. I'm
and also-
going to go through this a little bit more.
One of the spearheaders of getting during, election year, getting candidates together.
So then after community strengths, we go into Joanne, being Joanne, no. Community challenges. And again, the reason we want you to see this is because sometimes when people are trying to come up with ideas, it's hard to get a direction or ideas. So if you can
Take a minute.
going through or working with, sometimes it's helpful to get those ideas flowing in your head as well.
Listen, Erica now lives in Wailuku.
So I'll let you guys look at that for a minute.
We never know how long it's gonna take.
Yeah.
So,
Other community councils.
and some of these have been ongoing forever, as I'm sure you guys know.
It's really difficult.
Let's see here. So then we get past the challenges at this point, and then what we do
Club and
is where we
community
work on the new
councils,
ideas.
Club and community
Um,
challenges.
So what the new ideas does is we take all of those things, the club strengths and the club weaknesses, the community strengths and the community weaknesses, and we start asking the group, how can we do something about it? How can we take those ideas that we just threw out there and what can we do? And so during this part, this is where we start the brainstorming session. Everybody lists their idea, as you can see. And we want to put your name by that idea as well, because of accountability, because we want someone to make
So
sure they
there's-
get
This
involved.
club has an environmental
But
focus
as you
and
can
there's
see
an
here,
environmental
they go
trilogy.
through.
We've been working on one part of that for about 7 years. The trilogy is reduce, reuse, recycle. We've been doing a good job in partnership on recycle. The project that I would suggest is partner with local organizations to develop programs to reduce and reuse discarded items.
So you see, it was an opportunity for a club member to come out with an idea of something, you know, he feels strongly and feels the club is strongly about. So I'll put it up there on the board, so it gets listed with the others. And let's see, we're not gonna make you watch all of their ideas, but we do have a few videos, of course, of the different ideas they went through, because we wanted to let people know the process.
And,
That's the one that we gave these.
Okay, so you see everyone had these little dots in their hand? Okay, so depending on how many members you have, and depending on how many ideas get put up onto the board, we take those numbers. Joanne has a very scientific process, and she says, this is how many dots you get, okay? And then what happens is each person goes up, which you'll see here in a moment, and votes on the dots. And it's not like this is my number 1, number 2, number 3. They just vote on the dots, but they have to use all of their dots, and they can't vote on one topic more than once. And so then everybody gets a chance to actually go up there and vote on all these ideas that get presented. And what's also cool about it is a lot of times, once the voting process happens, they're kind of surprised at what actually gets chosen sometimes. So let's see, here's the voting process. So as you can see, everyone goes up, they get a chance to look at the different ones.
Well, don't double stack them. Just don't double
They want to
stack
vote
them.
on.
sorry, write it down.
And then, and of course, it shouldn't take all day to do it, but then after it's done, we then count up all the dots, of course, colors don't mean anything. And then we take all the dots, and again, depending on the numbers, like if you have, you know, ties and things like that, we try to list 3 to 5 projects, depending on the size of your club and the types of projects they are, and of course their voting system, and we'll list them from obviously the highest vote down. And this process right here allows us to help you create your committees or your little project groups. And Joanne is going to talk a little bit more about this once the video is done, but this is where you actually take all of these items and become your goals and priorities in your projects when you
2 that were 9 and 2 that were 8. So the 10 one was environmental.
So as you can see, if you go through the process here, where again, I'm not going to make you watch this through the whole process.
Imagine that. Oh my God. Katie, this one was, you get this filled out for me
Ones, oops, that's a horrible spot.
with all the names on it.
After they all selected their top ones, we assign each person to kind of head, or if there's 2 people that want to head those different projects. And then we try to get the other members that are currently there to join those different committees so that they can be involved. And then we set an actual date, normally within 4 to 6 weeks afterwards, where they have to come back and present to the club members what they've done so far and where it's going and kind of what they want to do with it. And again, Joanne will explain that a little bit. But let's see, go through here.
Any of these initiatives.
Okay, so this is where they're talking about the process.
Completed most of them. We didn't end up with a
And yeah,
formal
so
committee,
then
but it-
she also was showing them how,
One of the
what they
things
did
that
last
you as
year
the chair might
and
want
was
to
able
think
to show
about is
them
how
what
much
they
money would
completed
you
from
think
last
there's
year
a
after doing
cost
the
involved?
process
How much would that?
well. So down here to the end.
Candidate form? We've done that before. Hey,
Yeah, so that's where the results are.
so all of these
Okay,
stuff
we're
will
at
come
the
back
end
to
here.
you. You know, all of our dots, all of our ideas, all of this, the chairs, I will be in communication with the chairs for the next step so that you know what you're doing. And our
So that's the video. Like I said, it's on YouTube, so it's something that you guys can, you know, watch and on your own. I do also have a PowerPoint presentation. It's kind of big. Oh, shoot, sorry. My YouTube is playing. Let me stop him. I hate that about YouTube. When you close one video, another one comes up. Sorry about that. So, and I also have the slideshow for the virtual visioning, which we did as well, which is something that you guys are able to do if a club still doesn't meet in person. So if someone says, well, we don't meet in person, how can we do visioning? There still is a process. But I want to give Joanne a chance to talk about some of the key points as well. So that way we don't miss anything. And then, of course, go through some questions and stuff with you guys.
Okay, thank you, Wendy. Great job. By the way, I have to give Wendy and her daughter Chloe a big kudos because Chloe did the videos and some stills. And then I said, okay, Wendy, you got the videos, you got the stills, you got to put it all together because our members that couldn't be there needed to see what went on. She amazing. I got to give Wendy and Chloe a big hand because it was like amazing that she was able to make it all happen because we have a lot of our members that are not living here full time. I don't know about your clubs, but many of our members live somewhere. I mean, 2 of them live in Switzerland and they're only here 6 months. So we wanted them to see what took place. One of the biggest things about visioning is now what? What happens after it's done? We create what's called an action plan. And you figure, who are the chairs of these committees? Guess what? It's the people that put the idea on the board. Many of them don't know that, but some of them do because they're passionate. And so if they put their idea on the chart, before there is before they do the actual voting with dots, then we go back and this is where they get an actual, we find out who our chairs are, they actually get this action plan worksheet. Who is in charge? Who's on your committee? And the committee has to meet. And we give them 6 weeks to meet and come up with an action plan. And there's some ideas from a couple of years back of what we wanted to do, who were the chairs, who were the committee. Anybody that wasn't at the event gets the ideas and we request volunteer, say, okay, which committee do you want to be on? Because we need your input. And then those committees either meet virtually. Most of them are still meeting virtually. It's so much easier to meet virtually and come up with some ideas as to how are they going to implement the idea that they put on the chart that got so many votes. Wendy, I am going to share my screen with the visioning outcome from 2021, if you don't mind. So coming right
Absolutely.
up.
Go ahead.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so you can see that, I hope. This is what our members got before last year's visioning. They got the outcomes from the years before, and what did we do? You can see they wanted to work with Nalama Ikeola, and this is what we ended up doing. And they wanted to do some partnerships with other organizations. These all got sent to every member before the new visioning session, so they can see how successful we were. They can see that their ideas were put into action. And this is how many votes they got over on this side. And some of them didn't be offered, but guess what? Things started going. And every member got this prior to walking into the visioning. And we are going to continue to do that. This year, our visioning is already set for Sunday, June 11th. When is the best time to do it? A Sunday afternoon, and you feed them lunch. If you feed them, they will come. I'm a true believer in that. And we budget a lunch we feed them, and then we put them to work. And Wendy does an amazing job with facilitating them. And then those action plans, their committees are given a deadline. We actually come up with the date that they're going to be reporting at a club assembly, okay? And it's usually 6 weeks after the visioning session. So that strategic, and Mike, you asked a question, the action planning happens after the visioning. You got to have a vision to decide what you're going to do. And that action plan then takes place. Those committees meet. Okay, this is what we want to do. This is how much it's going to cost. You see, the president and the treasurer need to know how much to budget for. We try to budget for the first 3 top vote getters. And if there's a budget included, sometimes there's no budget at all. You just want to work with some other organizations. You don't have to pay any money. But when we did the breast pumps for the homeless medical facility, that was one of our district grants. So you can see that's why doing this in the spring before your year begins helps your club decide what your priority is, and then you actually do an action plan and you come up with, okay, who's in charge of what? And you present that at a club assembly, usually in July. This is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to get there. So it's very, very powerful. I really feel that this has been a true temperature of the success of Lahaina Sunset. And I know that membership was always big, and we really needed to hit that, and we'll probably do it again. But again, it's what the people that are attending want, not what the president wants, not what the board wants. The stakeholders are involved in the entire process.
Exactly. And that's what really makes this important, is that you're getting member buy-in, because they're already there and they're telling you what they want to do. And they're telling you where they want to go, and they're jumping on these committees and so forth. So it really is important to get as many members as you can to attend your visioning, because this is how you're going to hear their voice. I know I've had many a club say, we always get the same 5 or 6 people, or 10 to 15 people that always come and nobody else comes. We'll give the members a reason to come. Feed them, like Joanne says, bribe them, whatever it takes, but give them a reason to come, because they'll be surprised once they start hearing those ideas and they start talking about ideas, how many other people may have similar ideas or wants that they have, but they just never mentioned it. They just kind of go with the flow of the club, so if you can get as many members as you can to participate, it really, really helps out. Because again, you get to hear from them. And then when you start setting up the committees, you get their buy-in because they want to do it. And it really helps you as a president to lead, because you're already doing what you all want versus trying to figure out what they want or assume you know what they want.
And Mike asked a good question. What do you recommend? When do you recommend using the action planning guide that Rotary has? It's the jumping off point after the visioning, because this visioning session with lunch takes about 90 minutes. And so the action planning guide can help them after they've come up with their ideas. I'm fearful that if we tried to do the strategic action planning guide inside the visioning, we would lose too many people. It's a very big document. There's a lot of moving parts. And so we give our teams of our top 3 vote getters, or top 4 vote getters, that guide to help them formulate their plans for how they want to proceed. And that's a good question, Mike. Thank you for asking that. We want to keep this to 90 minutes, including lunch. It really goes fast because we give them a half hour for lunch and then we get to work. Even if their lunch is still sitting in front of them, that's okay. We start working. We try to bring the group together out off the tables. So, you know, and it's kind of pushing them a little bit, but we want to get them, it's a 2-hour program, 1 to 3, lunch, 60 to 90 minutes for the actual visioning. The virtual visioning that Wendy and I are willing to help you with and do for you is another kind of a process where instead of the whole group trying to do brainstorming, we break them into teams. And they each come up with their ideas, and then we go back to a large whiteboard, and it's another way. But when Wendy and I were doing it, when there was no in-person meeting, we actually required the clubs that wanted virtual visioning to have at least half of their members signed up to attend. If they had only 5 out of their 25 members, we said, we're sorry, it's not worth the time. It really isn't. So if you are interested in a virtual visioning, we would be glad to do it for you. But again, you must think about, can you get half of your members to participate in a 90-minute virtual session? The virtual session obviously doesn't have food, although they can have adult beverages during it, it's fine. So that's sort of, there's kind of the 2 processes. What other
Thanks, Joanne. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, are there any questions, please?
Oh my gosh, we stumped the panel.
Wendy and Joanne, you said both of these are available that we can get to review and just kind of pull out certain things that we might want to implement here and there. So what about the virtual, the PowerPoint? All of that's available?
Wendy, yes.
I have that one too. I can send that to you.
And the PowerPoint goes through step by step how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely recommend an outside facilitator. You see, I always brought Wendy to do it. I was just the scribe because outside facilitators, that way all the club members can participate. So I never, except when we had to wrap it up, put things on the wall. It was an outside facilitator. So maybe you're
no, I'm ready to hear it. Real life, real time.
Yeah, Beverly, you're an assistant governor. You would be a great outside facilitator for any of your clubs on your side. Take a look at the video. And again, all the documents, we are welcome to send you every document we ever use because you know that we share.
I know.
So,
thank you.
And Roz, I know you were trained in this process. Not, you know, when we did it years ago, correct, Roz? Wake up, yeah. You were part of that training. I'm trying to think. Was it 12 years ago?
Longer. Feels like it was longer than that.
Yeah, I know. And then so we sort of tweaked it for Hawaii from what we got. And so again, everything is available. All you have to do is let us know what you need and we'll get it to you.
My other question, Wendy and Joanne, what type of results have you actually seen in your club, and excitement or changes or anything that you can just share with us that happened from the results of this over the years of doing this type of visioning with your club?
Well, I can answer because my club's done it every year since 2016. Mm-hmm. And I think you saw the sheet of the results from the year before.
Right.
These were our top vote getters. This is what happened. And many of these are new ideas. A lot of our projects we don't put up there because we know we already do them. We already do the scholarships. We already do the dictionary. We already do stuff. But what's something new that can address our challenges? That's where the friend raiser came out. Some of you have seen that friend raiser thing that has really brought in new members. And I think this year, our biggest challenge is going to be retention because so many of our people leave because they have to leave Maui because they can't afford to live here. So one of the biggest things we have to do is engage all of our members. And I have personally seen since we've started this process, and energy and enthusiasm where more people are involved. That's just a personal one. Wendy has done it. Now she has a brand new club. Wendy, you want to address what's happening there? You know.
Yeah, in fact, my club is really excited to do their first visioning, especially since we have new members who've never been in Rotary, and members who have come from different clubs. So it'll be pretty, I think, exciting, because being a new club, you know, you're still trying to figure everything out, and everybody's got ideas, and you can go like 1,000 different directions. So we're kind of eager to actually sit down and have everyone collaborate so we can start getting some specific directions. And so when somebody says, what's your club doing? We can actually answer that, you know what I mean? And right now we can't. So for us being a new club and a small club, we're excited to do something like that, because we feel like it's really gonna give us the direction we need and just be more precise. In the past, when I was part of the Upcountry Club, we did visioning every year, and it really helped us, because again, we would set our different, in fact, the big golf tournament that they do every year came from one of the visioning things that we talked about, and that came from that. And it was, you know, really hard to get started, but now it's their yearly thing that they do. But that came from a visioning session, you know what I mean? And at the beginning, everyone's like, oh, I don't know, we'll see. But now it's like, yeah, we have a golf tournament, you know what I mean? So yeah, so you never know what's going to come out of it, but it is really cool when you you plan it and it's not just all talk, and then later you actually see, hey, we actually did it, you know, so.
And that's important before they go into visioning, to see what happened the year before and what was the outcome. That is crucial, because you may have a lot of new members that have never done this, and they need to see what happened the year before. They actually get it by email. You know, we really hammer this every week. We started to save the date right now for June 11th. That's when our program is. Mike is already booking, because he's thinking the first Saturday in July, which is, you know, that I'm definitely recommending a weekend. If you do it on a weekday, at the end of the day, people are tired. You need to get them when they're fresh, you know, and a lunch is a great time to do it. And Ross can agree, that's when they recommended we do it, when we had the training way back when, is that a lunch on a weekend is a good one. And we have found Sunday afternoon, people are not in church, you know, people are not doing a lot of family, you know, whatever they're doing. But for us, Sunday always work, but a weekend is fine too. So, but I wouldn't recommend after work, because many of your members. Roz, did you have?
Some people who have a really hard time getting clubs to meet have done it during their club meeting, and has told the club that we're going to have an extended meeting today, members only. So we have had some clubs who they just can't do it any other time. So they have done it, you know, change the club meeting to a club visioning, and just instead of an hour, it's an hour and a half meeting.
Right,
So
90 minutes.
we have done that.
You could do it in 90 minutes. Actually, this, like I said it was 60, but it is actually 90 minutes for the process, and then an extra half hour if you're going to feed them. So anyway, so Roz, did you have a
I
comment?
did. Have you had visioning with all of your clubs on Maui?
We used to. It depends on how the assistant governor pushes it. You know, when Larry and I, when I was assistant governor, when Larry and Wendy were assistant governors, they pushed it. You know, we brought it up at every monthly president's meeting, and we said how important it was. Some took it up, some didn't. You know, it just depends. Then there were years that there wasn't any, because at that time the assistant governors did not promote it, shall we say. It just depends. But we have hit every club over the past 10 years at some point. But some of them, it's been a while. Some of them say, we'll do our own, and that's okay. You know, if every club has another process, it's whatever works, but do something.
Right, and do remember that as well, that you do not have to use this visioning process. If you have someone else possibly in your club, or someone that you know outside of your club that you feel would be a great person for visioning, or maybe they have a little different matrix that you like, we still encourage you to do it. We don't want you not to do it because it's not our quote unquote visioning. Visioning is very important. The one thing I would recommend, and I found the most helpful, is that if you're going to do it on your own somewhere else, just make sure that you have an outside facilitator, because you want to be involved in that meeting and you want all your members involved. So if you have one of your members facilitating or something like when I was helping Joanne and Larry do it, they would facilitate and I would be just a regular member at the meeting because I wanted to participate and be involved in the process. So that's one thing I would recommend is just, if you, however you want to do it, just make sure I would not have somebody in my own club facilitate so that way they could participate. And again, not have you do it so you could be a part of the group as well.
For example, when I do Wendy's club, I will bring a member of my club to be the scribe. I'll talk her into it, or him into it, because I would do what Wendy did. And then you need a scribe, you need 2 people. So there was a good question. Joni asked who on Oahu who has been trained to be a facilitator. Roz, do you happen to remember anybody that you're the Oahu person? I don't know Oahu too well.
We go around and just work with the clubs and being the facilitator at these kind of visioning sessions. So if trained in it, it's if you need someone, let me know and we'll see that we have someone there that can help you.
Yeah.
But it's really important because it puts the cohesiveness with your clubs, and the clubs get out of this. They're very strong, and then they feel ownership with the projects or what they come up with. So it's really, really important that if your club hasn't done one, that you do it.
Yeah. We're true believers in if people tend to support that which they help create. And sometimes when it's any job, any work, if it's a top down, we're going to do these projects, people go, oh, well, I don't want to do that project. But you know what? If they're sitting there in the chairs and their ideas are going up on the charts and that they see the dots and they go, oh, well, mine didn't give me many dots, doesn't mean you can't do it. You know what? It's just what happened in the 90-minute session. It's powerful. I really feel it has made a difference personally in my club, and I've watched it with others. So Wendy did put in the chat the YouTube and the visioning PowerPoint that we did for virtually.
Yeah, the other one is kind of big. That's why we made the YouTube video, because the other PowerPoint has videos in it. So I'll try to make that smaller and then send it to you guys so that you'll have that one. So that way you can actually talk through it versus what I did while scrolling through the video for you guys.
Can we answer any other questions?
I have Vern Lowry here from Kona Sunrise. I appreciate this. We are having next Saturday, in fact, a session here to get after our future. We've been kind of treading water. Apparently, I'm the new president-elect. I've been here less than a year and a half or so. So we're looking forward to it. We have, I think, Laura, and I forget her last name, coming in along with Randy Hart will be there. So I anticipate it's going to be great for us. We are anticipating hopefully most of our members be there. We've already been told a couple won't make it. They're back on the mainland or whatever they can't do. So anyway, thank you. This is very helpful for me as we get into it next weekend.
Good luck. Good luck. And that's great. 1 year, my club did have the district governor run visioning. Because the president at that time wanted Clint Schroeder to do it, and because he did it everywhere. So we said, okay, let's bring Clint in. And it was very similar to what we were doing. So, it doesn't matter who it is as long as they know what they're doing. and Randy, and is it Laura Stilquist?
Yeah, that's right. I couldn't pronounce her last name.
Laura's good.
Yeah. And they have, and Laura has been trained. She was part of that, as I recall, Roz, way back then. So yeah, anybody that's on the outside, it makes your group, it'll help you. Just encourage everybody to come. Bribe them. In the virtual visioning, we give prizes at the end. we pick people out of the workshops and say, okay, you're going to get X number of Paul Harris points, courtesy of us. And you know what? If you bribe them and you pay them off, they do it too. I'm a teacher, you have to bribe people. Any other questions we can answer for anybody?
Joanne, you made a statement that those who gave ideas became the chairs of those particular projects. Did that go over well?
Yep.
Just curious.
Yes, because you
Just-
see, they're the
yeah.
ones that threw it on the board. It's
Uh-huh.
their project. It's their idea. A lot of times within the group that was there, they picked a co-chair. And
Okay.
then anybody that wasn't a chair and a co-chair, then we went around the room. Okay, which one do you want to be on? Which committee? We basically forced committee participation because they took 90 minutes of their Sunday to participate. So they need to continue the effort. And yet the chairs knew it because you see, they threw that idea up on the wall.
Mhm.
So, and that,
I like that. I
Yeah,
mean, if you got a great idea,
then you
you
want
should
to.
implement it. You should
That's
be a part
right.
of that. So, yeah.
And run with it and get a committee. And now the ones that have done it every year, no. They go, well, I don't know if we want to put it up there. But
And not only that, when you do the visioning and you have the number 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever, there's more than one number next to that. So you have your committee already made for you
That's
as well.
right,
Because
that's
these are
right.
people who really want to see it done. And once they explain it and talk about it, then the other people in the club might join in with it as well.
Right. And we
And they're
do,
excited about it right now.
Yeah,
So
and we
we want to
do-
get them while they're into it.
yeah, and we do monitor them on meetings. We, you know, and but I'm the secretary. I go after them. Okay, when have you met? Are you going to be ready for the club assembly report? You can't just expect them to do it and show up at club assembly and haven't given them what we call gentle reminders or respectful nagging.
I
Because
was wondering about the accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, secretary
Yeah,
follows up.
if you set that meeting time where we're actually having a club assembly on this day to discuss these things. So number 1, you're putting them on the spot. And then of course, helping them remember, because we all get busy and we all do forget things and some stuff isn't always a priority. So just the gentle reminders, like Joanne says, hey, has your club, the committee met yet? Do you need more people?
Do you need
how's it
help? Do you
going?
need
Do
help?
you need
Yeah.
help? And that's the other thing. They just may need help, and so, but just reaching out, keeping them in loop. So again, you're not forgetting about their ideas. It's still important. You're still like, hey, I remember we talked about this. It's important. So how's it going? You know what I mean? So, and that again helps encourage them to, hey, they didn't forget, like, hey, we're in this, you know what I mean? And it makes them want to do more too.
Yeah.
And
And-
we are separated by a little water. So if you need help, we're always willing to help.
Absolutely. We're only an email away and, we can always give you whatever you need. Again, documents, anything that you need. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Things we have them for you. And you can always find Wendy or I or Roz, emails, and we're ready to help you at any time.
Joanne,
Yes.
it's Joni from Kapolei.
Hi, Joni.
Hello. So my plan had been for this coming week to do a visioning during our meeting, but I can tell by listening to all this, my little tiny plans are so little. I will have to expand it. So I think I'll just keep it as an assembly with some other backup things to be talked about and talk about this and try to get everyone to agree on a time to meet and to do this visioning. So I appreciate all that you said. I do want whatever paperwork or whatever, I need those because my club needs a vision. We need a vision.
I'm going to go to everyone. I'm the paperwork girl. Wendy knows that. That's why she keeps me around. And so I'm putting my email address in the chat. Just send me an email and I will send you all the paperwork I use to get you in a direction. And Joni, you might even consider having the following meeting be 90 minutes and bringing over Roz to
Just
help you.
Joni, let me know. Kapolei is a good club and they're a fun club. So just let me know when you're
Yeah.
going to have it. Be more than
Yeah.
happy to.
Well, our meetings are mornings, 7:45 in the morning, so it's hard.
Thursday mornings, right? 7:45. I
mornings,
know
yeah.
that very well.
So
Thank you, Roz.
the two, I mean, that's again, we're so lucky that Roz is here because she was all part of this when we were actually introduced to this whole program. Our training with the people from, was it Backy's somewhere? I don't know. They flew in, they wore suits and everything. And I think it took all day to be trained, but we were able to hone it down so that we could make it work in Hawaii
It
because.
was cold on the mainland, so they came for the summer.
Yes,
You know how it
right.
is.
I remember that.
But it was great.
So we're here for you, and Wendy's here for you, and Roz is here for you, and Mike, I got your date. Well, Wendy and I will figure it out, see if we can do it for you. Okay. Well, that being said, we're fine letting you go early. My God, some of you have been sitting for, gosh, I don't know how long. And so you have no further
Yeah,
questions.
I unmuted.
If you have no further questions,
Aloha.
Thank
we'll
you.
just say aloha.
Thank you, Joanne. Thank you.
Thank you guys
All
again.
right.
Make sure you get
Thanks,
everything
guys.
you need.
See y'all soon.
Take care. Have a happy Easter.
Thank you
Happy
much.
Happy
Easter.
Easter.
Aloha. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Joni, didn't you win the 500 points last time? Would you please send me your email address, Joni? I can't get you your points. She was in my last workshop. She got 500 Paul Harris points.
I did send
She
you, but I'll
did.
I'll send you another email. Yes, I was so excited.
Please do, because I'm
Okay.
going, who was it? I should have written your name down. I'm so sorry. It's special needs, But thank you. Send me, you got my email, send it to me.
I
I'll
will.
send you the form. Okay,
I'll
perfect.
do it now.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Thank you.
All right.
I'll
Okay.
take it if you
Thank you,
didn't, if
guys.
you weren't gonna like jump
Thank
up.
you.
Good luck, Beverly. Let us know if we can help
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye, guys. Aloha.
Bye. I'm gonna leave now. I gotta fix my husband lunch. Bye.
Easy. Sorry. She knows I'm
Great
supposed to be
session,
done.
Wendy. You guys did a good job.
Thanks, Roz. I appreciate you. It's good to
Yeah.
see you.
Always, always. You guys did
Thank
great.
Bye,
you.
ladies.
Wonderful,
Thank
wonderful
you.
presentation.
And let me know when you're going to do your new club.
Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Bye, guys. Happy Easter. See you, Johnny.
Bye.